Just before this audio starts, I wanted to let you know that there is now an exclusive audio on my Patreon for paid members only. It's about your boyfriend saying, "I love you" for the first time. It's nice and cute. I think you'd enjoy it. Also, I just wanted to shout out this fan art made by Little Olives that is outrageously adorable. Thank you so much. Anyway, without further ado, enjoy the audio. Hey babe. No, I'm fine. I just got something on my mind. And can I tell you something? This is gonna seem really out of nowhere, but I've been thinking about it a lot. I know you know a lot of this already, so, you know, just bear with me, and, you'll see where this goes. Growing up, you know, I didn't really have many friends. I mean, God, I'd been single all of my life up until I was like, what, 20? I hadn't really had anything meaningful in my life yet. Anyone that was meaningful. It was just every now and again I'd spend some time with some random people, and I never felt like a meaningful connection was ever made, you know? I lived so much of my life like that, and for a while it was fine, but under all that, there was this ever-present loneliness, you know? And after a while, and eventually experiencing some form of a semi-decent relationship, not even a romantic one, just a really close friend, and that ending, it really started to eat at me. I never contemplated, doing anything terrible, but it was just, I was just going about life with just this void in my chest. This hollow feeling. And with every passing day that I would just spend alone or briefly spend with someone who, just wanted to hang out at least a little bit, I never felt fulfilled, and it kept growing and growing, and eventually it was like a poison, slowly finding its way to my heart, and then not stopping in my heart, but using that to spread even more to my liver, to my stomach. It never stopped growing, and it would just start to feel worse and worse. There were so many days that I would just sit in my room and just kind of stare at the ceiling. And times like that, I just, I physically couldn't ignore it. It just all flooded, and it was just such a weight, such a crushing feeling that had such a vice grip around my heart. I never. For years, I just couldn't stop it. I didn't know how. I just. I never fully gave in to hopelessness, but every now and again, that little feeling, that thought, crept its way into my mind, and it had always persisted, but in moments of silence and reflection, I just couldn't ignore it. That feeling of, this is it. Clearly, you don't know how to make a relationship work, or to even forge a good one. And this is it. This is what your life is gonna be. And just the feeling of, I don't even know how to describe it. It was so crushing and suffocating. It's just like someone suffocating you, but giving you just enough air to live, to filter through your lungs and to be able to pump blood through your veins. But just enough. It just kept eating at me. And I know those feelings were irrational. Even back then I knew that, but it didn't stop them from being there. I knew that those thoughts were irrational because no matter who you are, you will find someone to be in your life, a friend, a girlfriend, whatever. But it didn't change the fact that they were still there. Those feelings were still there. And I just couldn't help but feel that was it. That was what my life was gonna be. And then it wasn't. Then I met you. You came into my life, and at first I was scared. I was like, this is just gonna be another person that'll come and go, just like everyone else. And I just kept getting closer to you and wanting to spend time with you, and it was so exciting to finally feel like, I don't know, I had someone that I had a genuine connection with. But it was terrifying at the same time because I couldn't shake the feeling that this was temporary. It was gonna end. Just like everything else did. But it didn't. We kept hanging out, kept bonding, growing closer. And eventually I realized, for one of the first times in my life, I was in love. And that probably scared me the most. Because I knew how I felt when I lost just a close friend. Part of me was excited, but an even bigger part of me was like, don't form this attachment. You'll just find a bigger dagger to drive into your chest. That's all you're waiting for. But eventually, I didn't care. Spending time with you and bonding with you, it made me feel whole. It made me feel like I'd always wanted to feel. Content. Not completely, because, I still want to pursue other things. I've never been of the mindset that a partner is the thing that will make your life complete, but with all that, the years of crushing loneliness, I just couldn't help but long for one. And it was so weird to spend time with you, and the pit in my stomach was gone. Of course, as we started, you were busy, so we didn't spend a ton of time together, so when I was away from you, the pit would come back. It just made me want to spend more time with you. So I did. One of the first times in my life, I consistently reached out and was like, hey, you want to grab some dinner, or you want to watch a show, whatever it was. And every time, I was just so scared that you would say, not just you were busy, but that no. In some offhanded way, trying to be polite, but still trying to let me down gently, you would let me know that I wasn't worth your time, essentially. But that never happened. We kept hanging out, kept getting closer and closer, bonding over the stupidest little things. Falling into each other's allure. And then one day, I couldn't ignore how I felt. And you had given off some decent signals of your own. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna ask her out. And to this day, that is probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. Being able to spend so much time with you in such a loving way. It, you know, the first time that we really spent a lot of time together as a couple, and after you were packing up to leave, we hugged for a really long time. And it wasn't awkward, it wasn't weird, it just felt right. And then you left. I just took a step back. And I just cried. Not because I was sad, but because I was happy. For one of the first times in my entire life, I felt the feeling I was longing for so long. And I just couldn't help but cry. I just couldn't stop. I was on the floor crying for like 15 minutes about it. Because I had listened. And I had longed. I had strived for something like that for so long. And I had it. And my body just like went into shock. And then I just broke down. In all the years of me being alone and feeling that, I never broke down. The feeling would just eat at me, slowly and surely, but I never could break down. I could never just cry myself to sleep. I don't think I knew how. I just never did. But that right there, that catharsis, it felt so freeing. Like it felt like I just realized I had a chain around my neck my whole life, and the second I realized it was popped off. And I finally felt what it was like to be free of that. And I didn't know how to react other than just crying. I didn't want to tell you about it because I was really scared I'd scare you off. Like, really scared. Because I know that's weird. Well, maybe it's not weird, but it's sad, I guess. And I didn't want to ruin the chance of us getting even closer. And we just kept spending more and more time together, spending more and more of our precious lives together. Getting closer and closer. What I'm trying to say, if it's not obvious, you freed me from a prison of my own construction. prison that I thought had no escape, that I was going to be forever condemned to, just rotting away, until eventually my body just couldn't persist and I'd die of old age, sad and alone. But you broke those bars and you let me walk right out, and it felt so weird that it was so easy to just step out of that cage with the right person, with the right help. But I did. And I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me. I can't. Thank you. Thank you for bringing so much happiness into this life. A life that I thought would be forever devoid of it. Thank you for just being you and allowing me to experience you being you. I love you. I love you so much. I love you so much. And I just wanted to tell you that. I just wanted to really lay it all out on the table and just tell you how much you mean to me. Through all of my hardships, my trauma, you were there. You were willing to be there for me. And I can't thank you enough for that. I don't know what I would do without you. And I don't know if this relationship will persist or if we'll end up not together in the end, but either way, I am the happiest I've ever been, and I wouldn't trade this for the world. I don't know where we'll go together, but I am so glad we are together to go there. I love you.